4-0 is an indication of a really comprehensive performance as well, and I don't think it was. We played in fits and starts, and in many ways I don't mind that, but you're always looking for that emphatic performance, and I don't think it was emphatic, but very happy with it.
The schedule's been quite kind to you at the moment, isn't it? Because you had the game on Friday, then that weekend off, you'll get next weekend off. For once it's working in your favour.
I'm not bothered the way it comes, to be honest. If you put 3 games in a week, it doesn't bother me at all. I think the players can cope with it. I think we've got enough depth in the squad to be able to cope with it. So, in many ways, I don't see it as an advantage. I like us to be into a fairly regular routine. I think we're at our best then.
Presumably you enjoyed watching the Wolves result on Saturday?
No, it means nothing to me whatsoever. I always look upon this division as well, all divisions, as being you've got to get to a certain number of points, and that is still my mentality. At this stage, with almost 20 games to go, where you are in the league makes no difference. How many points you've got makes a huge difference. The
4-0 against Watford may have flattered you a little. Did it flatter you when you beat Swansea 4-0 earlier in the year?
Yeah, possibly. But it depends what your criteria are. What you're looking for. We play a certain style. Other teams play different styles. There's no right. There's no wrong. It's just what works. And at the end of the season, you'll find out what works.
What are you expecting from Swansea then in terms of style?
Well, they have the style. Their passing is just something you can only admire. The skills that Roberto has brought to the game in terms of his management and his team reflect what he's looking for, and it's they are a delight to watch on a week-to-week basis. I personally feel that they are well capable of being promoted this year. They'll be looking to obviously reverse the result we had at the Majewski. It's got to be our intention to go there and unsettle them and try and get a result ourselves.
In terms of injury news, we ask you every week about Marcus Hanneman. How's he looking now?
Yeah, he's good. He has been out most of the morning. He still can't do sort of intuitive keeping. What we're doing at the moment is just predictable. He knows how he's going to move and where he's got to move in game situations where you just react and move in an uncertain manner sometimes, or less predictable manner, and that's where he might have problems. So we're just looking after him, and obviously Marcus is very much on top of things. Fedders is playing good in the first team, so it's okay from that point of view.
And finally, Steve, I know you don't talk about your own transfer business, but you must look at what's going on at Manchester City this week and just, do you smile or do you scratch your head? What's your reaction to when they talk about £100 million, £250,000 a week and so on?
Well, in many ways it's not real, but the money the owner has doesn't seem to be real. There's just so many noughts. He's got a target, and how he gets there is down to him. In many ways it's brilliant. We've had a number of teams who've sort of joined the fray this year. It's not just 2 teams, or at the most 3. Hopefully in a short space of time there'll be half a dozen teams capable of winning the Premiership, and that can only be for the good of the game. And if Man City join that fray sooner rather than later, then brilliant.
Team-wise, Steve, I assume you're not going to change anything because you won 4-0, but your bench, will you look at your subs? Because I know you had 2 strikers on the bench at home to Watford, which is something you don't often do away from home. Will that change your thinking, and if so, who will get the nod to be that striker if you do choose it?
Well, again, we'll take an extra player or 2 to Swansea, and I'll leave it till the last minute. I think it could well be on this particular game that I'll change that around, but there was a sort of freshness with Leroy coming on and Shane, that sort of pressure from within. It's got nothing to do with what we say as coaches or managers. The players know they've got to perform to do well, so I wouldn't want to sort of detract from that.
Leroy obviously is been made public at Sheffield United, which is something I know you didn't want, but it has been made public. What are you pleased with the way Leroy's come back.
Yeah, he's set the marker. You know, the way he's training is terrific, and you know that's got to be the mentality, not just of him but of every player at this club. When we train, it is practicing for game situations, and although we like a relaxed atmosphere on occasions, we also need intensity on occasions, and that's all any manager is looking for.
How's the transfer window going for you personally? Are you closer to anything?
No, to be absolutely honest, you know, we have a few things in our minds, but we're not really close.
Have you given up on Horizon?
I've never said anything about any player.
No.
Until it's done, and then I'll talk about it. I don't want to do business that way. I really don't want to talk about any individual players. I'm striving to strengthen the squad. I would never mention any individual player.
Anyone else going? I know Nicholas Bignell's just gone on loan, hasn't he?
Well, again, we have a couple of players who,
Jason,
you know, it would benefit, I think, to be getting regular football again, reserve team football. You know, it's just not right sometimes. Sometimes it's great, but it's not consistently right, and it's better to be playing competitive football in the league.
Anyone close?
No, not at the moment. No.
You're the top scorers in England, aren't you? And possibly Britain.
Scotland, yeah.
Playing Scotland as well. You know, you're not in Scotland. That's good, isn't it?
I think Wasp might have a few more. It's pleasing, you know. You got to score goals to win games, but you can't depend on that all the time. What's equally pleasing as well, that you know we're fairly frugal at the back, and you know both sides of the game are a work in progress, and you've got to keep crafting a way to improve, and that's what we try and do.
Well, you're in a 3-horse race, aren't you, with Birmingham Wolves? And your goal difference.
No, I look at the league last year, and you know, Hull came from nowhere, and look at them now. So it's certainly, with 19 games to go, any team can have a run of 4, 5, 6 games, and a season is transformed with a good run.
You've got a healthy goal difference, tell you, that's what
Yeah, you know, if it comes to that, then it's to our benefit. But you know, it's to our disadvantage last year. It might be to our benefit this year.
Do you think? I mean, you talk about Swansea being a good footballing side. Do you think that you and Swansea are the best entertainers in the Championship? Would you say?
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, I'll say it then.